rolling?
We are rolling on the river.
Sipping on
the river.
Sipping on organic peppermint tea.
Man, I put 2 tea bags in there.
Yeah, sipping on the last little bit of.
So one's pure peppermint, and the other one was like peppermint green tea ginger.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take my peppermint green tea ginger bag out a little bit early because I get a tummy ache if I let my green or black tea steep a little too long.
Oh, dude, I still ain't put you on the cold brew black tea.
Oh yeah. I guess the tannins are less severe to those of us with sensitive tums.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got sensitive
way smoother. It's also not as bitter. I feel like somehow the caffeine is still there, but it doesn't impact you the same because of the way the temperature like filters out. I don't know the science behind it, if I'm being honest, but I just know I don't think it's going to make you feel the same way. But yeah. Also, I done got on matcha heavy. I done got crazy on matcha. I was at Ross, right? You go if you're at any Ross, and then so it's like you walk straight back to the back. They got this little aisle where they be having like little
snacks,
little jellies and spices and
random
things like
pantry
that.
stuff.
Random pantry stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while you can catch them with some matcha. This one that I found, I've only ever found it at a Ross, and man, you put a couple of scoops of that in like hot water in the morning. It feels as if you're drinking coffee, right? But you don't feel that like it's not as burdensome as coffee, because coffee, I feel like if you're in a hurry and you don't really want to brew coffee, but you can warm up some water and just, because ain't nobody trying to drink instant coffee.
Matcha's tricky though. If you don't blend it just right, it can get real clumpy.
Oh, word?
How do you, I'm interested in this matcha that you have. Because every matcha I've had, I need like a little immersion blender to like make it.
No. What I do is I put it in my bottle and I shake it up. I put the hot water in the bottle and shake it up. That's what I do. And it, doesn't ever seem to be too clumpy. But, yeah.
Do you have sediments in the bottom when you're finished, though?
Occasionally. Nothing crazy, though. Nothing crazy. But anyways, what's up? What happened? What happened last weekend?
Last weekend, September 6th and 7th.
Yeah, what happened?
It was a great weekend.
It was crazy.
Man, September 7th at St. Stephen's Music Hall, some magic happened.
Yeah,
like most inaugural event.
Most definitely. Hold on. We had. Why do you keep saying inaugural? What is that about?
I don't know. Probably just because the presidential debates are coming up and shit. And,
oh, okay.
I'm thinking about inauguration, new beginnings, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so basically,
it sounds very official and fancy.
Oh, that was an intense yawn.
Like, cause it feels like I could say like it was the first of something really beautiful and special, or I could just say inaugural.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. It's fitting. So basically, like September 5th, you had Camacho over at the Orion Amphitheater. Soul Carnival was in the park, Big Spring Park, on the 6th.
September 6th.
And then on the 7th, you had Camacho and Soul Carnival come together to put on this little thing we called SoulMacho. And man, it was a pleasure. It was so much fun. It was very rewarding. What are you doing? What are you pressing over there?
I'm doing good. You're doing good.
Okay.
We're good. We're doing good.
Yeah, no. First and foremost,
Gucci.
If you don't know who Camacho is, I've been saying this at this point. It's damn near a catchphrase at this point. If you don't know who Camacho is, you're living under a rock. They are all pillars of the North Alabama music scene. Shout out to Heath. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Mac. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to AC. Them boys is all fire. And it's like, yo, every single last one of these people are so important. It's crazy. Hold on. Let me nerd out about my homies real quick. So, just give me one of them. Just give me one of them. It don't matter.
All right, Mac.
Okay. Mac, bro. This man is a powerhouse on guitar, right? This man is, once again, if you ain't heard of Free Candy, you're living under a rock. Like Mac got a whole nother thing with Free Candy going, and they're just incredible musicians. All of them just shred like there's no tomorrow. Every time I've ever seen them, they're always playing like the Rennes do. And so
like the what?
The Rennes do. You know,
Rent, dude.
yeah, that just means you're doing something to the best of your ability. It's
The
like
like the
rent.
Renaissance.
No, like the rent is due.
Oh, like the rent is due.
Like
okay.
you're trying to perform so you can make money so you can pay your rent, right?
I was making it one word.
Yeah, it's a reference to rent parties. You know what rent parties were back in the Harlem Renaissance?
No.
When musicians would be, you know, on the verge of being evicted, what they would do is they get all their homies together and they would have, you know, big block parties or whatever to raise money so they could pay their rent. Rent parties. So it'd be like, oh, old Charlie Parker's rent party is down there on 7th Street. Let's go over there. And it's like, you know, they pull up in there and that's how they would, you know, stay in wherever they lived at. But anyways, what was I getting at? Rent party. Mac. So yeah, it's like, you know, Mac is one of the most incredible guitar players, point blank, period. You know,
smooth, so smooth.
Oh man, and it's like, you know, I consider him one of the Soul Carnival mercenaries. You know what I'm saying? He's a hired gun. Whenever we around, we in the same area. It's like I always want him with us. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Free Candy once again, powerhouses. Every single last one of them. Heath. A lot of people don't understand this about Heath. Heath is the same bass player from XY Spaces. Yo, when I learned that, I was so taken aback. Are you familiar with XY Spaces?
No.
Yo.
I've been living under a rock.
Yo, North Alabama music scene? No, Alabama, period. Like, XY Spaces is one of those super heavy, like, you know, hardcore bands or whatever, but it's like, oh my God. When I tell you, like, they put on a show, and it's like, I'm not even one of those people to where I listen to, like, hardcore music all the time, metal music all the time. Like, it's one of those things I dibble and dabble in, but I know good music when I hear it. And I'll be damned if Xbox Spaces don't kick ass, you know? And I'm thinking they were on like a little bit of a hiatus, or they're morphing into a different, you know, they got some things they're trying to get together. But the point I'm trying to make is, when I'm listening to Camacho, I'm not thinking like, oh my God, this is the same guy that plays bass for XY Spaces. Like, that's just hard to fathom for me, you know? And of course, AC, you got the Golden Flakes. You got Heel Turn, Alex Powell, like same thing. And don't get me started on the Meatsweats. Like, you know, the Meatsweats is by far, you know, man, good Lord, you gotta go catch a Meatsweat show, man. You gotta see them boys live, man. But yeah, they're all just like pillars and powerhouses of this scene, you know, and so they you know, they had a show on the 5th. Me and Joe had been talking about this for a hot minute. We've been wanting to make this happen for a long time, you know. And once again, shout out to Heath, man. Heath messed his finger up, yo.
The night before the show, I remember.
Night before the show, yo. So we're talking, I think, I can't remember if it might have been a bandsaw or a miter saw. Something he was doing with his job. Man, he almost cut that thing off. And I'm just grateful that it's still attached to my man's body. Because, yo, that would have been awful if he had lost that finger. But, you know, he couldn't play in the show. And so last minute, it was hectic. It was. What are you doing? You're distracted and I'm distracted. What you have? What you got going?
I'm listening. I was looking up XY Spaces.
Okay. I was just doing homework. Ain't nothing wrong with doing a little homework. But, yeah, no, so what ended up happening is everybody was pitching in to cover bass for Heath. So it's like Mac learned a few songs on bass. Joe would play a few songs on bass. Sponge played a few songs. And everybody pitched in to the point where, you know, it was okay, right? And it wasn't just like so much weight on one person as an individual, you know? And yo, made it work, man. But, yeah, no, SoulMacho was an amazing experience. You know, I got up there, I played saxophone on the song Fragments. You know, I feel like I've always thought that was just a very saxophone song, you know. And we packed everybody and their mama up on that stage towards the end of our set. We had Joe, Mac, Alex, my boy Sergio pulled up. Of course, Tiara and Opie Renee was up there. It was just crazy. It was just St. Stephen's Music Hall firing on all cylinders. I felt so bad for those people. I was telling AC, man, I was like, yo, this is not what this place is designed for at all. I felt so bad for it because it was just two dudes. And it's like, they didn't go to school to be sound engineers. Like they got an iPad and they're pressing buttons, you know, like they didn't sign up for that. And so I'm just extremely grateful that we had that opportunity, and you know, it ended up being a great turnout. But I do want to say this. Well, hold on, no, I'm talking too much. You, by all means, give me your spiel, give me your reflection, give me your whatever, and then I'll get back into what I was going to say.
Man, I gotta say, I was house sitting for some classical musicians who were in town for a Rocket City New Music thing, and I wanted to go to that show, so I missed the whole first half of Joe Canada doing his solo set and Camacho and you being up there playing saxophone. And in hindsight, I wish I would have just pulled up to St. Stephen's at the beginning of the night, because I couldn't fully appreciate the show I was at, because I was like, well, I got to be, you know, somewhere to, you know, play in a show at 9:45. So it's like I was trying to do way too much that night, and I feel like I missed something special.
No, I'm glad
we got there, and it was great. Me and Tiara went and did our girl thing in the bathroom. She helped me get ready so we could, you know, be looking fly.
I think it was funny how like Tiara ended up wearing like a blue shirt and black shorts, and you ended up wearing blue shorts and a black or something like that. Y'all ended up being inverse of each other.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, you know, we haven't got our dance moves worked up yet, so like at least we're gonna like look
like
good.
I felt like y'all did not
our fit
understand
choice.
The assignment at all, but you still somehow.
What do you mean we didn't understand the assignment? I thought it was royal blue and black.
What I said was you didn't understand the assignment, but yet still managed to get an A. That's what I was trying to say before you cut me off. Damn it. But anyways,
But no, seriously, like in the moment, being up on that stage with everyone was so fucking beautiful, because going from the classical music, new music, basically living composers writing classical music, going from that world where everything is on paper and precise, from the dynamics to the notes to the rhythms, and then into this SoulMacho world where it was just like, we all trust each other and we know the best thing's going to come out.
Yeah.
Like being in that environment with all of those stellar musicians was bringing things out of me that I didn't even know were ideas in the back of my head. I felt like
channeling
we
some
were
shit.
all in it in such a way that there was some really honest and subconscious things just coming to the forefront.
What was your highlight? What was your favorite moment of the night? Like what song in the set was like, this is peak, like highlight?
Okay, reel? So 19 going on 67 is a song that I've always like struggled to be present with, because it's from an era of Soul Carnival that existed before I stepped into the picture. And I feel like that was the first night I was like feeling it all the way. And that was really nice.
Interesting.
That was a really nice experience.
Interesting.
What else? I mean, what I will say, you know, just to comment on St. Stephen's firing in all cylinders, I was excited to look back at that footage and like see and
Shout
hear.
out to Chita, man.
And witness like what we were feeling in the moment.
Yeah.
And visually it looks great, but sound wise, there were some subtle moments that I was really excited to tune into that just wasn't captured for a combination of things. The sound in the space, also the sound on, you know, that just the little iPhone thing was capturing. It just, it was one of those moments where, like, you know, when you're on a trip and you have an amazing time and you're taking all these pictures and then you're looking back at the pictures and you're like, it was way better than I remember it. Like it was too much for what we had the capability to capture. And I think as we continue down the road, you know, there's going to be time and space for hiring people to run amazing sound to, you know, have like real professional level videography. Like right now, we're just pulling in anyone. We're pulling all of our resources together just to capture anything, to create more opportunities so that this can continue happening in the future. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And being an artist and being led by your heart in this world that we live in right now is increasingly challenging, because you're working overtime for like less than gig work pay, and it's not about the money, but you need to be met. Your needs have to be met before you can get that next level thing out. And I mean,
yeah, no, me and Joe ended up kind of having that conversation leading up to this whole thing, and in retrospect, it's like I really think from now on, going in the future at St. Stephen's, it's like we need to hire somebody to do sound. Point blank period. It's
a challenging space acoustically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a weird shape.
Absolutely. Oh,
great
man.
For singer-songwriter and like 3 or 4 piece band.
Oh yeah, dude. I saw like a bluegrass band there, and it sounded top of the line.
That's the night we went.
Yeah. It was.
We went to talk to Evan. We're like, hey, look, it's not about the money. We really need a space. Yeah. For SoulMacho to like experiment with some things.
Absolutely.
And it's like.
Wait. So hold on. Back to my question. So 19 was your like highlight.
That was just one where I felt like I clicked in a way that I hadn't clicked in before. I mean, Hustler's Anthem is amazing. Holy moly, closing out the show with Perseverance was so dope. Like, that is what I feel we have been aiming for a very long time. You know, because we fade, you know, all the instruments fade out and then people are singing. And then usually we end there, and that happened like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
and it was just like
straight up.
Like, it was like, okay, everyone knows it's gonna end, but they don't want it to. And then we were like wrapping up our chords, and people like started cheering. They're like, we need one more song. And then me and Joe were standing on stage looking at each other like, are we about to do another song? Like, we don't know. But it was, you know, everyone who was supposed to be on stage at that time for a real true encore to happen had already dispersed. Yeah. But, you know, when you have like a dozen people.
Well, we were already like 30 minutes over time we were supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, they weren't tripping. But hold on. I gotta say this. First off, yeah, I got emotional as hell at the end of Perseverance.
It was honestly so beautiful to just look over and see you having a moment.
Well, hold on. I'm getting there. My highlight, like, moment of the set, actually, it was Miss Pam's purse. And here's why. So I sent Joe those chords. Of course, I ain't worried about him. I wasn't worried about Mac. Mac actually got a little mad at me after the show, and I'll explain that too. You know, Sergio pulls up. He got his tenor. And the cherry on top in like the recording of this song for me is the tenor saxophone, right? Mm-hmm. So let me put this in perspective for you. So before I can become like a rapper, there's a lot that needs to happen, right? So it's like, as a composer, I'm always feeling like it's not enough. I'm always feeling like there's something extra that needs to happen. I'm always feeling like, oh, we need more, right? And so it's like, Mac pulls up to a show. It's like, oh, bet I can bring my keyboard and I can kind of, right? Mm-hmm. And then when it's like Joe and Mac are there, it's like, oh, shit, let me get my saxophone and then have it to the side. And then it's like,
and then
Sergio's there. And for the first time in Soul Carnival, I felt like I don't have anything to contribute right now. There's nothing I can, and mind you, reason I put my guitar down is because the feedback and the mic, it was just too much going on. And then I kind of looked at Mac at one point, and I was like, bro, you're on your own. I'm gonna tell you, man. And he would kind of like, after the show, he was like, bro, I need charts for this shit. Like, you know, and I get that. Like, I guess sometimes I overestimate how just crazy Mac's ear is, because like he can hear just, I can play something 2 or 3 times, show him a shape, and then he's good. He's gone, right? But I kind of, you know, left him out in the water with no floaty this time. And sorry, Mac. Mac, if you're hearing this, my bad, bro. I'm finna write up these charts for you now, big dog. But look, to feel like there's nothing you can contribute, because I remember Dobby raps that whole song, like, and then we come in with we'll understand it better. So
by and by,
I'm sitting there. I've given my mic to Joe. Dobby got the other mic, right? Y'all are up there. Sergio's going off. Joe's going off on the piano. I was just overwhelmed with this feeling of like, holy, like, I don't know how to necessarily express the emotion. It's almost like it's like, imagine you've been a chef your whole life and you never got to taste your food. Ever. And then like one day, you know, somebody hires you to make this elaborate spread or whatever, and they're going to pay you all this money, and then lo and behold, the spread is actually for you. It's actually for you. They're letting you, you know. That's what it was like. And it was like the first time I ever actually got to see Soul Carnival. That was crazy, yo. Cause like I'm sitting there and you know the crowd is right up in our face at this point. Me and Dobby been hopped off. So we been abandoned trying to be on the stage a long time into the set. And so like I'm standing out into the crowd and I'm listening to this music and I'm just shaking. I got chills. I'm fucked up. It was the first time in my life to where I could kind of peek into what people were seeing when we're channeling this music, you know? And that was really powerful. First time I ever got to be a rapper. First time I ever got to feel like a rapper. You might have got it on video, but it was like when I hopped off, I was looking at Dobby and I was like, this is what you get to do all the time? You always get to do this? Like, so jealous, man. But it's one of those things. It's like a drug. Like once you know what that's like, it's kind of hard to go back, bro. Like I've got that high of knowing what it's like to have, you know, all these people firing on all cylinders, and there's not much for me to contribute when that's happening. Like when Mac's doing his thing and Joe's doing his thing, and Lord forbid we got Sergio. Like, who am I, bro?
Man, but what I'm hearing you talk about right now is like what I imagine it's like to be a mother. You know, it's like you done did all this work. You just compare me to a mother? You have birthed this experience, and now it's out of your hands, and now it's going to get way bigger than anything you could have ever done on your own.
I don't know if I would say mother. I'd say I'm just like a really like devout and involved uncle that's picking up the slack. And ends up, you know, calling shots a little more often because, like, you know, mama don't necessarily got their shit together and daddy be, you know, off the bottle sometimes. And so it's like, uncle, that's kind of how I feel because, like, I'm not by any means, like, if you go back into the beginnings of Soul Carnival, like, I wasn't even in the band at first. Like, it was like, I had to technically audition to get into the band if you really think about it.
Really? I don't know this origin story.
Oh, yo, dude. This was before it was called Soul Carnival, right? But man, it all started with this damn girl, man. There's this girl I was trying to impress at Northeast, and I told Dobby, I was like, yo, we gotta play this talent show. And it's so funny because like there would end up being some very crucial, important people that were in this talent show. Shout out to Dakota Wright from Headwires. Shout out to not Booty. Oh my God, Lord forgive me. Buddha, aka Jesse Clark. I don't even know if that nigga go by his government name no more. He might have not even. I don't know if he even go by Jesse. I don't even know if he go by Buddha. I don't even know if he anymore. They might go by they. I don't even know, yo. And I'm not trying to like offend them if that's the case, because I ain't even heard from Cuz in like years. But When I'm Older was one of my favorite bands ever. You know. They made amazing music. He was the lead singer for When I'm Older. Let's see, who else was there? I think I can't remember who else, but anyways, so we ended up doing this talent show. This dude ended up approaching Dobby, not me, approached Dobby and was like, hey, we need a singer for our band out in Fort Payne, blah, blah, blah. You want to be our singer? Didn't say shit to me. And Dobby was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I'm sitting over here low-key a little bit salty because I'm like, really, bro? It's like, I was the one dragging Dobby to this talent show. I'm the one that's like, hey, learn this song. I'm the one that's like, and then it's like they approach him and only him. Like, it's like, okay. And so basically, Dobby does a couple shows with them. He's not taking this shit serious.
And who was that approached him? Was that Sponge?
No. Sponge is not even in the band right now. So Sponge would be very last. But what ended up happening is...
Well, who from? Okay, just keep going. I'll let you tell.
I can't remember cuz name. I think it was Noah Nelson. Nathan. A guy by the name of Nathan. Shout out to Nathan, man. Yeah, no, that's the homie. It's good people. But Nathan approached Dobby, and Nathan played bass and was like, "Hey, we, come be in our band." And Braxton was the drummer. Braxton is like 8 years old, cuz he's like in diapers. In actuality, I think he was like 14 or 15. And so it's, and they already got another guitar player. And then Dobby was like not taking this shit serious at all. He like showing up to shows drunk and all kind of shit. This is back when Dobby was buck wild. You never got to see buck wild Dobby, thank God. You would not have got along with that guy, I don't think. But Dobby talked him into like letting me audition or whatever. And so I went and I played, and they were like, "Oh, like, yeah, you could, yeah." And we ended up jamming and trying to make it work. And I talked to Brax, and I was like, "Man, I don't really want to do this no more." And he was like, "Yeah, I don't really want to do this either." And I was like, "I still want to jam though." Like, and he was like, "Oh, me too." And then I called up Sponge, who at the time was a drummer. A lot of people don't know this. Mm-hmm. Like I was in the trenches as a youngin' with Sponge, and Sponge was always on drums. People don't understand. Like, Sponge is a hell of a drummer. And so like throughout high school, it's like a lot of my fondest memories of playing music. It's like Sponge is either playing a sousaphone or he's playing drums. Like, I have very limited memory of him playing bass. But, he was going to JSU for bass. Mm-hmm. And so I figured, like, might as well ask him if he'd be willing to, play bass with us. And he was down. And that's how Soul Carnival happened. So Whoa. We kind of stole the band.
I mean, you stole the drummer and Dobby, who wasn't going to be listening to anyone but a friend as close to you anyways. Yeah, low key. Yeah, Dobby was not caring about nothing those other dudes were. He was not caring. He did not care at all. He was doing what he wanted to do. He was rebelling. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like it was going to come into anything else other than, they might have lasted a couple years, maybe, I think, if I was to predict. But ultimately, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. And I'm extremely grateful to Nathan. And what's my guy's name? Obed. Obed was the other guitar player. Shout out Nathan and Obed, man. Wait, as in like Obed Eden?
Nah,
Obed?
Nah. I just know his name was Obed.
Okay.
But yeah, they were the ones that first put all that together. This is some cool ass Mexican dudes from Fort Payne, man. They cool as a fan. But yeah, man, that was how it all happened. That's how it all came together. But
when did Tiara sing with y'all first?
Man, it was like herding cats and pulling teeth to get Tiara to start rocking with us. It was so difficult for me because I had to like show her like, "Yo, Tiara, people are actually listening to us." Yo, Tiara, like we're actually,
What was her creative outlet at the time? Singing in church?
Not a damn shit.
Really?
I
was under the impression that y'all were just singing together in church always growing
up.
Well,
of course, always, but that's a given. That's like a mainstay. That's going to happen regardless. And my brother, Cameron, he always had bands, that were coming and going into and out of fruition, And Tiara was always like low key a pillar of whatever he had going on. Like her voice was always, a big part of that. And then Cam ended up moving back to Birmingham. And so that kind of had that whole thing kind of falling through. And so Tiara wasn't really doing much. And, by the time I got her in the studio, whenever we recorded at the first Lucky Sound studio, she kind of got the taste. She got the hunger, and she understood what Big Bro was trying to do. And she been down for whatever ever since. It just took a while. It took a long time to get Tiara to like really see like what I'm trying to do. Like, don't you see that this could be a platform for you to, whatever? She wanted them to see it, to believe it kind of people.
So this is like, okay, so I'm looking right now. Lemon Street was y'all's first single. Is that true?
I'm trying to think. Yes. Yes, that is correct. Maybe? Yes, that's correct. That's correct, yeah.
So was that the recording session?
Which recording session?
The first one that you brought her into at Lucky Sound.
Oh, no. We had, man, shout out to the Gulley brothers. Shout out to Russell Gulley and Dennis Gulley. They were some prominent members of the music scene. They resided in Fort Payne. They were a part of a band called Jackson Highway. They were the people that originally recorded that old time and rock and roll. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so they recorded that song originally, and then the label stole it from them and shelved them and screwed them out of a whole bunch of money, right? Mm-hmm. And so they were just kind of around trying to give us free game, trying to help us along, trying to, because like we were really some of the only people that were young and trying to pursue this music thing, and that gave them hope, and they were trying to breathe life into us. And a lot of the help they were trying to offer, it's like they were trying their best to help, but it just Dobby wasn't going. I remember one time they were trying to suggest like, hey Dobby, you need to put on a circus hat and like a circus coat, because they were trying to lean into the carnival thing. They were trying to expound upon that, and like Dobby was not having it. But I digress. They got something up with David Cook over at Cook Sound Studio, the same studio where Alabama, like he's that engineer. He engineers for Alabama and all that. Like he has got Grammy nominees and all kinds of. Is it Grammys or yeah? He got Grammy nominated. He's the bomb.com, and we ended up getting studio time to record a little EP just off GP from the Gulley brothers. Like, hey, we vouched for them, and they showed love, Calliope. They really took care of us. And we put out a little 4-track EP, and
called.
I don't want to talk about it. Braxton, I got you, bro.
Was it ever released?
Yeah, it was released. If you can find it, I'll give you a cookie.
It's not on the streaming platform.
I'm pretty sure we scrubbed it clean.
I'm pretty sure you did too, because I don't see no.
I'm pretty sure it's scrubbed clean. I don't think it exists no more. But I'm trying to think. One of the songs didn't even get put on the actual album. But so yeah, we kind of had like the foundation going. We had the main ingredients. It's like, Dobby can sing, Dobby can rap, I can play guitar, I can rap, and then when we actually started putting together the border in between, that's when I was at Tiara, like, Tiara, listen, I need you for this song. Like, I need you to harmonize with Dobby on this. I need you to sing this chorus. And yeah, we've been thugging ever since. So, but I wasn't really trying to make this like the Soul Carnival origin story.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm glad. I'm glad to learn more about it. And it's what I'm hearing is, wow, it really takes someone who's been in the game for a while to kind of like hold your hand through those beginning stages and encourage you and push you, but also to, like, Dobby saying like, I'm leaning into this carnival shit.
Oh yeah, bro.
It's like knowing, so those folks who've been in it for decades, they can encourage you to a point,
right? But
you gotta stay true to yourself, to your artistry, to your own development.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they can't understand me and Dobby, because me and Dobby were trying to be SoundCloud rappers. That's what we're trying to do. Like, we're trying to make mixtapes. We're trying to put together mixtapes. We're trying to get on World Star. That's what type of time we were on. We're trying to go viral, freestyling in the parking lot. Like, we were trying to be rappers. And it took a minute before we figured out, like, oh, we could. I gotta give you my my meatloaf onion analogy. So I got my brother Cam hates onions, specifically white onions. They it makes his like I can't remember if it's acid reflux. It's something he got that makes it flare up. And my mom was real spiteful, and my mom low key is kind of mean sometimes.
Yeah, we talked about where you got your pettiness from. And
so my mom would get tired of my brother complaining like, oh, I don't want onions and meatloaf and blah. And so what my mom would do is she would chop up the onions extremely fine, right? And she'd hide it in the meatloaf. She'd mince it all together to where it's indistinguishable from the ground beef, right? And that same concept is how we've been doing these North Alabama crowds with rap music. Because it's like, if you go to a venue in Fort Payne, Alabama, and me and Dobby were like, hey, we're going to rap. How much will you pay us to do a couple sets of rap music? We're going to do this hip hop. They're going to be like, get out of here. Get your coon out of here. Get out of here, boy. We don't want to hear none of that mess, because they're like, And it's like, it's not even necessarily all their fault, but it's like they're associating this with like, okay, they're not going to make no money. Ain't nobody going to make no tips. Ain't nobody, it's going to be violent. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. That's what they're associating this with. Mm-hmm. But if you say, hey, we're a band called Soul Carnival. We do live music. And they see me playing this guitar and occasionally pull out a saxophone and they hear Dobby's angelic voice of an angel. Whenever we decide to rap a little bit, they don't bat an eye. You see how that works? That's chopping up the onion real fine and hiding it in there. You know what I'm saying? That's what we was doing. And it's like, we're just now getting to the point where it's like, we can actually like have an onion like on a saucer plate, like in the open. We're just now getting, because it's like, we've been doing it for so long. It's like, yo, it's always been in the meatloaf, y'all.
For so long.
Yeah. It's always been here. That was an awful pun. That was terrible.
It's fine. I don't care if anyone thinks I'm funny or not.
Clearly.
I'm having a good time. Well, what I'm hearing you say, and this is the perfect segue to what we said we were going to talk about, is like you gotta give the people what they think they want, and then slide in a little bit of what you want in there. You know, because being an artist is challenging. We're not gonna stop making art because it's so much part of who we are, but it really is a challenge to be out in the world sharing your art when people aren't valuing it. It's not that we need their permission to make it, but it's hard to trust yourself and to build that confidence with your muse, with your gift, and sharing it with the world if no one understands it or wants it. So you got to package it in a way that they can understand, and the more your audience trusts you, the more creative risks you can take. Yeah. Because a lot of times creative risks happen behind closed doors.
Oh, dude, yeah, no, because like at the end of the day, if you're an artist is going to make art, point blank, period. It don't matter, like whatever is at your disposal to like, if let's say you're a painter and you don't have any oils, and okay, well you'll use pencil, and if you ain't got pencil, you'll use charcoal, and if you ain't got that, you will find a medium to create your art. And it's the same way with music, right? It's just finding the balance between like, okay, what can I actually put out into the world to where I am getting that? Because when it comes to like me and Dobby, like this is real to us. Like this is, we live in raps. This is therapy for us. Like we ain't playing no games when it comes to our lyricism. And it's very rewarding anytime people in the circle, you know, they point out like, oh, this thing that he was talking about, like, oh, I remember when that happened. It's like, oh, this thing, like, it's like, yeah, it's like we ain't making shit up, nigga. This is what it is.
I can't remember who said it, but the sentiment is like, what makes art good is if it's necessary.
Man, and that's crazy.
And we can't afford
that's crazy
therapist.
Dude, because if you think about the word necessary, what you're saying is bare minimum. Yeah. Like this is what has to happen, you know?
Man, which is why I've been tuning into Two Chords and the Truth.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, to kind of sort of not necessarily bring it around full circle, but like Camacho is like one of the only bands that we considered our peer, from when we started, that's still out here. Like, you gotta understand, yo, like I seen some of the most talented, some of the greatest bands break up and it break everybody's hearts, you know? And it's like, when we first stepped into like the little scene or whatever, there was hella bands, hella music, hella venues, hella everything. And then it's like, once the smoke cleared, it's like it was us left and it was Camacho left, and that was it. And so we're at the point now where we're like, yo, we have to breathe life into each other. We have to do what we can to, you know, manifest our visions into each other's, you know, whatever.
It's a testament to your dedication.
Yeah, because dude, I remember Camacho. I think we met Camacho playing in Fort Payne back at the Dekalb Theatre in like 2016 or something crazy. Whoa. Yeah. It was like that. And so, you know, they're still going. They're holding down that side of Alabama. We holding down this side of Alabama. Hell, we gonna meet in the middle and make something happen. You dig?
Man, it's
shout out to Decatur, man. Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. And you really have to revisit your why often, because a lot of people want to be artists because of the attention or the fame, or they're chasing all the wrong things. And it's like, if you're not honest in your pursuit, You ain't gonna last long.
No, because you got to think. You know how many bands have this expectation of like they're waiting on the quote unquote big break. That's what they're waiting on, the big break, and they think that the big break is going to happen because they're good. My friend.
No, it happens because you're all pushing and firing all
cylinders.
cylinders.
Man. Come on, yeah.
And it's not the turning your wheels and getting nowhere. It's this thing is flowing through me, and I'm gonna let it flow through me, and I'm gonna trust that it will take care of me. And not to say that, man, putting that kind of pressure on your art, doing art full time is not easy.
Of course.
And I mean, I'm not even there. I like in my slow season, I still, dog sit and house sit and
I ain't there yet. All the jobs I be at, I be working over here, working over there.
But I love getting scrappy because at the end of the day, I'm learning that no matter what you're doing, if you can be in service to someone or something, then you're golden. I don't know if I said it on the record last night or if it was when we had stopped recording, but like I don't want to be a slave to my mind. I want to be a servant to my craft.
Absolutely. I think we captured that. I'm pretty sure we did.
And there's so many layers of what that actually means. And putting the right pressure on.
Oh,
that's something we're still kind of figuring out.
Yeah.
And just the group that you've created, really, that Soul Carnival's created, the community around it is like, we support each other. If we're pushing too hard in the wrong direction and the wrong thing breaks, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's not dire.
Absolutely. Because one thing I'm realizing about music is like, even if you're a solo artist, like nobody's really out here by themselves. Everybody has some sort of team, and it doesn't necessarily, that team doesn't necessarily have to manifest into like, like hands on the ground, boots on the ground, like, helping this artist or artist do whatever they need to do. That can show itself in so many different ways. And what it really comes down to is like your circle. You hear me say circle a lot, like, oh, there's my inner circle, outer circle. One of the most beneficial things for us was merging Camacho into our circle. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like that spillover, because they got like Joe is a visionary for real, and he's somebody who has created this fanship, this like, Camacho fans are you're never gonna see any fuckery, any BS. Like nobody's coming to Camacho shows to start nothing. Nobody is on that type of time. Everybody's coming out to hear the music. Everybody's coming out to show love and have a great time. And it's like, from the outside looking in, I'm looking at this man with just the utmost respect and admiration. Me not even realizing that he looking at us the same way. You dig what I'm saying? And so, yeah. No, I could, and this is what I need folks to understand. This is my most solid flex as of today. It is September 14th. I don't know what time it is. My most solid flex of right now is it. You got military time on your phone for real? What is 18:30?
6:30.
It's 6. Yeah, I was about to say, I ain't feel like doing math. It is 6:30, September 14th, and my biggest flex is, my other group that I play with, Swanglish. If you ain't checked out Swanglish Music, go check out Swanglish Music. They had the opportunity to open for Lil Jon in Birmingham. It was 10,000 people in this audience, y'all. By far the biggest crowd opportunity I've ever had in my life. I couldn't make that show because the SoulMacho show was the same night. And I hired somebody. I'm saying but it was really like a trial and error thing. Thankfully, the guy just so happened to be a monster. Shout out to Eric Von Kimball. You know Eric Von Kimball?
Not yet.
Oh man, he's a monster. Like the joke is that he's the iPhone version of me. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Dude, straight up, like from top to bottom, like everything about this man, he is me, but more processing speed. More apology. It's like I might have a cracked screen, but I get the job done. Like that is my guitar playing in a nutshell, But he's like, he is so proper and technical in how he traverses the neck and how he goes about perceiving chord progressions, and everything's just the right way, the correct, proper. Man, I do what I gotta do to get the job done. And but like, even like, is that my phone vibrating or is that yours?
I think so. It's yours.
Should I get that?
If you need to.
I don't know. Is it gonna pick up into the mic?
Go grab it.
Hold that thought.
We got editing power.
Who is this calling me? Oh my god, this dude's still blowing me up. Okay, so look. Yeah, it's like, bro, he pull up rocking the braids. I'm rocking the braids. What's the difference between his braids and mine? Okay, you can tell that he went and got like somebody who actually does hair to do his hair. You know, I got whoever is around me to braid my hair. You know what I'm saying? It's like he got the new iPhone. I got the cracked Android with electrical tape holding my home button on. You know what I'm saying? It's like he plays a Fender Stratocaster. I play a Fender Stratocaster. What's the difference? His is all polished and glistening, and you know, I got an old Mexi Strat with paint chipping off, and it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is just the iPhone version of me. But I said all that to say this. It's like, yo, this dude is a monster on guitar. And, you know, he was nice enough to fill in for me for the Lil Jon show. But zero regrets at all. Like, I at the end of the day, I'm the guy that turned down playing in front of thousands of people to go play at a hole in the wall where we might have had like 40 or 50 people there total. And I regret nothing because of the energy, because of the love, because of the, you know, like just everything was a magical.
You're zeroed in on your why. You're zeroed in on your why. Why are you making the music? Because you need to.
Yeah. Real shit.
Because it is an honest, integral part of your essence as a human being on this planet. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
because if you make it about something that is quantifiable, I don't know if that's the essence of art, or the essence of honoring the muse, or honoring that which is begging to come to life through you.
Yeah.
It's about glory. If it's not about that, it's about glorifying ego. It's about having something to prove.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I feel like ego kills creativity, right? Because it's like, this goes back to kind of what I was saying. I can't remember if I was saying this yesterday when we were recording or not, but it's like, yo, I don't got no ego about nothing because I don't got nothing to prove to nobody. I'm just trying to get my art out. I don't care if you don't. It's like, oh, you think I'm not the fastest shredding guitar player? Okay, great. You think I'm not the most technical saxophone player? Okay, great. You think I'm not the whatever. You can have all of that. I got a lot of shit on my mind that I got to get off my chest. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Write that down. Put that on a shirt. I got shit on my mind. I got to get off my chest, cause like that's what it comes down to. So it's like I'm just trying to channel something way deeper and way more significant than just like, oh, look how good I am. Like, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? If I never pluck another string, I'm going to talk my shit, point blank, period.
Well, it's not a competition. It can't be.
No, not at all. That's why, like I told Benny straight up, I was like, hey, I got you a filling guitar player. He's better than me. I'm telling him that. Like, yo, he is better. Like, I don't care to say that because I honestly feel like if I had just said like, hey, I got a guitar player, you know, he might be a fit, he might not, whatever. I don't feel like it would have been met with the same response. But when you hear me say like, yo, this person is better than me, then it's like, okay, there's a little bit of assurance in that, because most musicians' ego won't even let them say that. But like, my thing is like, coming from hip hop, coming from rap, like, I want you to be better than me. Like, I want Mac to outplay me. I want Joe to outplay. I want Sergio to, like, I want Dobby to out-rap me every time. Why else would I even be trying? I want to be with people who are better than me because I'm trying to be like them. And at the end of the day, I'm not tripping because they all want to be my friend. Everybody who I think is a dope as hell musician, man, they all think I'm cool. They want to be my friend. So, like, who cares? Why am I tripping? Like, especially when it comes to rap. Like, oh my God, like the reason why me and Dobby gel so good is because it's like I can out rap Dobby on Monday, easy. Tuesday, hell yeah, I'm out rapping Dobby. Wednesday morning come, we neck and neck. Thursday morning, he got a verse from my ass, and when the weekend roll around, I can't fuck with him at all. He rapping circles around me, and so Sunday night, I got to go back to the drawing board and rewatch. You know, and that's it's the iron sharpens iron, still whatever, blah blah blah. Like that's kind of what that's about, and it's like whoever I've got participating in, you know, this music, it's like I want you to shine. I want you to, you know, shine the brightest to the best of your capability. You know, and I'm not trying to get in the way of that light. So yeah,
it's a whole education to have enough humility to surround yourself with people who are on that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. In the song "We See You," on my verse, I say, "My homie that rap gonna show me up. You ain't gotta come to my show to show me love." Like that's real. Like I'm giving him the cosign. Like, hey, I need you to rap circles around me. That's why I'm inviting you on this song, you know? So, yeah. That's just where I'm at with it.
I mean, there's this, when ego gets involved, there's this fear that, oh no, I'm going to be outshone. And it's like, no, actually, we all shine brighter when we shine together because we all shine in different ways.
Yes.
And I feel like the way that you shine the most sometimes is by facilitating spaces for other people to shine.
Amen.
And you and I feel, are very similar in that regard because you and I are competent in a lot of things, but we're probably not the best at
absolutely.
anything.
Absolutely, 100%.
But the way we go about living our lives, and I mean, it's not even our art. Like our life and the way we live it is a testament to art.
Yes, 1,000%.
And so that's, you know, wow. I'm just so grateful to... Why are you laughing?
You made me think of the "It Don't Matter" song.
It means everything.
Yeah, because like I understand my process. Like I'm sitting down. I'm like, okay, greatest verse I can possibly muster. I'm going to use 99% of all my brain power. I'm double and triple entendres, and I'm just the internal rhymes and just going crazy. And then I rap it to Dobby, and I'm like, write your verse. Let's go. You know, I'm thinking he gonna match my energy. What does Dobby do? No. He writes the dumbest, shortest, goofiest, silliest verse I've ever heard him write in my life. And that is what I'm getting at. That's what makes us gel so good because it's like
you're gonna balance each other.
Contrast, balance, yin yang. If I'm rapping like the rentist dude, then the rent gonna get paid. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty other songs that we've made, and I'm pretty sure plenty more songs in the future where it's like, we're gonna go above and beyond to balance each other, not necessarily match each other's energy. Because if matching each other's energy throws something out of balance, that's not. We got to go back to the drawing board. It don't matter how good the music is. It don't matter how good the lyrics are. You know, and that's one thing that I really respect about Dobby, because he's like, okay, what needed to be done has already been done. So now it's time for me to, you know, whatever. And so, yeah, man. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. There's a couple songs where it's like, yo, Dobby rapping circles around me. Because I feel like he was rapping circles around me on Matter of Fact. He was talking crazy on Matter of Fact. He was talking crazy on, Summertime. He was talking crazy on About 7. Yeah. There's a couple songs where Dobby's just going crazy.
This whole spiel we're on right now has got me thinking about like the right kind of pressure to put on things. Because if you're putting pressure on, I need to be better than that person, or I need to this or that, it's like that's the wrong kind of pressure. Yeah. It's like constantly raising the stakes for each other, and like, well, what if, or try this.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I feel like creativity is more a process of asking questions and having the courage to investigate things you might not ever even get the answer to. Because there never really is the answer or the right thing to do.
Yeah. You can get damn close. You can get damn close, but a lot of times the right thing ain't always the smart thing. You know? And that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, you know, Dobby could have easily like went to the drawing board and wrote a crazy verse to like Matt, but like why? Who does he got to prove that he can rap to at this point in our lives? Like, bro, we pushing 30, yo. Like, we ain't proving to nobody out here that we can rap. If you don't believe that we can rap good at this point, okay, fine. If you don't believe that we can play guitar and sing and whatever, okay, great. That's fine. You're just not going to be proven to, and that's okay. We'll keep on moving on. Cause like I said, we got shit we gotta get off our chest. So, yeah, man. Yeah. And that song has become one of my favorites too. Yeah. It's become one of my favorites, man. I made a joke at the September 6th gig, and I don't think nobody got it but Braxton. So this song has the foundation of it is, we just kind of like humming in the key of A flat, and we're playing in Big Spring Park, and everybody's sitting out in the field essentially, and they're listening to us and they're watching us, and I said, y'all want to join in and hum with us? You might as well. Y'all already in the field. And nobody got that except for Braxton, and he was laughing so hard because nobody else got it, and it was just so out of pocket and over everybody's head. I just thought that was funny, but
that's what we do. We got to delight ourselves. It doesn't matter if people understand it or not, because they're sitting out there listening anyways.
Absolutely, and but yeah, no, it's become one of my favorite songs, and it's about balance. It doesn't matter. It means everything. The whole thing is about balance. Like karma, you reap what you sow, whatever you want to call it. If you're from the Bible Belt like me, you might say something along the lines of it's a time and place for everything. Like, it's about balance. That's what it's about. So, yeah.
Man, let's talk about that September 6th gig for just a hot second.
Do it to it.
That was fun.
We was outside, man. We was outside. They had us situated. Shout out to everybody who put that together. Whoever was responsible for the RVs and the snacks and the water.
Huntsville Music Office, Huntsville Arts Launchpad. They want to throw a party for their community.
Absolutely.
And they sure did.
But hold on, my man Carl. Carl, one of my favorite sound guys ever. He's just so good. He's just so good at that. Cause like, yo, that had the potential to be disastrous. Because that stage is like outside, big stage, weird shape, audience is far away. That had the potential to be a rough gig. But like Carl is so good at dialing in those wedges and balancing out the sound. Like, oh man, he's a GOAT. And then my man back there on the light, man, I don't know who bro name is, but he had the handheld spotlight towards the Beastie Boys set, and that's difficult. He was dead on the money too. Shout out to that guy. And yeah.
Man,
it was cool.
Aesthetically, bringing back your little analogy, that was an iPhone gig, and St. Stephen's
is an Android
was
gig.
A crack screen Android gig.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing, yo, like there's some Android gigs that might bear fruit that you never suspected because it's an Android, and we tend to look down on us Android users. And then on the flip side, there's iPhone gigs that might tend to look and appear like they are going to be this big, huge, grandiose whatever, and a lot of times it doesn't always end up that, and that's 100% our perspective, our fault. Like we set bars too low, some bars too high. I
think the lesson there is like, things aren't always as they seem. No. And just because it looks good don't mean jack squat.
Yeah, at Macintosh. Yeah, man, I'm just saying, you ain't never going to be able to pay me to have no iPhone. I can't do it, kinfolk. I can't do it.
Also, on the note of September 6th, the Launchpad event, I found it to be a very high compliment that we were the only group there doing an all-original set.
Talk that shit.
That's amazing. Because, Huntsville Music Office wants to throw a party. They want everyone in the community to come out. They want to make Huntsville this music hub, like a little Nashville, so that they can benefit from the tourism that comes through the city. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we are greatly appreciative of the bag they threw us that night. Right. But it's so interesting, how do you give the people of the community what they want? How do you throw an awesome party? You give them music they're familiar with.
Right.
You put cover bands up there. You put like things that people are familiar with, that people are comfortable with. And so I feel like they took a great chance on us doing an all original set opening for the night.
Of course.
And that was wonderful. I know throughout the weekend they had other shows and other acts that did all originals. Right. But yeah, that was really it was
special. It was also a little bit of pressure in retrospect. I'm glad I wasn't thinking about it heavily during that.
I don't think we realized it until after the show.
Yeah. Well, no. I think it was. I kind of had that realization when we were in the green room, green RV, whatever you want to call it.
Man, that was fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can't wait for that little video we made in there.
Dude, I forgot about that. I gotta hit up Brax, right? Was it Brax that made that video?
I'm not sure.
I gotta text that man. Like, I need that. Cause that's hype. That's hype. We can post that. Like.
Also, I thought it was quite funny that we made the decision to wear Hawaiian shirts that night because we were getting up there in our Hawaiian shirts, and anyone in the audience who didn't know who we were probably expecting something far different. Far different. But we look sharp. We were all coordinated. That's good. And that's something else I kind of want to come back around to. I know Dobby had made some comment beforehand, like, man, I don't got a Hawaiian shirt. Like, this is the closest thing I got. Like, that, there is, I sense with Dobby this resistance as far as giving people what they want or what they expect. Like, he doesn't care about what it looks like. He is honest to a fault.
Yeah, it's the hard-headedness in him. It's the rapper in him. It's the preacher's son in him. You know, it's the rebellious teenager in him.
Well, I love it.
It's the Neanderthal in him. You know, Dobby is like 2-point-something% Neanderthal. You know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what the DNA test said, but I was already suspicious because I lived in the same house as that man before, and like, bro, he is not regular.
I got mad respect for him, and I got a lot to learn from him, and you, I mean, everybody for that matter. I think since the start of our friendship and working together, I've really shed a lot of those people-pleasing tendencies, which were all incredibly ego-based. It's like, you know, for me to be important, I need other people to like me and to tell me I'm important. And I need to raise the ranks in this, you know, in this opera world. I need to go to grad school to, you know,
of course,
be the best person to sing Mozart.
You can't really beat yourself up too much because a lot of that is just the environment that you happen to be immersed in when you went to Montevallo.
Well, and the family that I grew up in, you know, my grandmother was highly successful as an opera singer and music teacher, and I thought that if I was going to do music, I needed to be incredibly serious about it. So I was going to do the most serious thing possible, which was study like opera. Yes, I do actually. And then I took a trip to New Orleans, and I was like, "Oh, this is more my pace."
Yeah.
And so I graduated from Montevallo, and then I started hanging out in the bars in Birmingham, and I saw people making art that was honest, and they didn't know the difference between major and minor, or you know, dominant and subdominant or tonic. But they were having fun. They were making art that was honest. And so I think whenever you are able to open your mind up to learn from anyone in any environment, your ego kind of starts to crumble, and you can
you preaching right now, because like I don't even really mean to point this back at, you know, college, the college experience, that walk of life, but like one of the issues that I take with higher education is they teach you to have like this hierarchy of like who you can learn from. And I'm somebody who learned to play guitar from a crackhead. You understand that? A crackhead taught me how to play guitar. Now, I would never call this person a crackhead, because in my eyes, this person is a hero. They're a giant. It's superhero. It's Superman, you know? But like to society, this person is a crackhead. Rest in peace, Bobby, by the way. But it's like, so it's like, I'm already not somebody who can do that. Like I got this far by that honesty that I don't know that, like, Bobby he can't talk no music theory, but he can play the hell of a guitar. But here's the thing that folks don't realize. Can't none of them guitar professors nowhere, none of them universities play like Bobby. Think about what I'm saying. I didn't say they couldn't play better. I didn't say they couldn't play faster. I said they can't play like him. Point blank, period. And the thing about music, especially when you start talking about college, is like, you know, they're trying to, you know, filter and push everybody in the same direction of uniformity. And I feel like that's not quite what music is.
Because they can measure that.
Well, yeah.
And when you can measure something, then you and your little ego can put yourself above other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, you know, all my big homies and OGs in music were people that would be looked down upon and you know, scoffed at and laughed at, and like they're the dirt off your shoulder kind of thing. Like, that's how I feel like higher education would look at my heroes, the people that I would die to have another. I would love to have another conversation with Ken Stewart or Bobby, or just like some of these like just legends in my mind. But it's like they're just some random dude playing guitar at a Baptist church in the armpit of Alabama. Who cares about them? Who cares what they think? Who cares what they know? And then it's like, here I am, I'm being passed the torch, and then I go and I play in front of a crowd full of white folk, and they're like, oh my God, how do you do that? This is my guitar, your style's so unique, and blah, blah, blah. So it's like there's a disconnect here somewhere between the higher education and music and what's honest in music, you know? And yeah, I didn't even really mean to get on that spiel, that pedestal, that whatever, but like, man, you triggered me a little bit when you started talking about the bars and whatnot in Birmingham, and the honesty and it's the difference between, like, you know, the troubadours and Mozart and who was playing at the symphonies in Vienna, and the people who were just on the street corners, you know, singing to the masses. Like, that's the difference. Yeah. You know, because it's like there's a certain level of stigma that is attached to one, and then one is just like coming from the soul. It's just, yeah. I
had a lot of unlearning to do.
Are we doing this? Are we doing that?
I was so full of knowledge.
Once we go down, there's another one of those forks in the road. Are we doing this?
Let me make this comment. You can decide if we're doing this or not.
Do it to it.
I was so full of knowledge, but I had no experiential understanding.
Oh yeah, no, pedal to the metal, full send. We have to go. Yeah, we have to talk about this. We have to. Dude, especially you. I feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, especially because you're somebody who, you're a singer songwriter. You're playing guitar. You're writing these songs from the heart. There's nothing in music school that's encouraging that. It's just not. Yeah. Like, that's not a thing, you know? There's not a class you can go and take, like, oh, let me go learn how to. No. There's nothing in music school teaches you how to write catchy songs. Nobody teaches you how to write heartfelt, meaningful lyrics. Like, that's not a thing, you know? And so
you got to live life before you can be gifted those gems.
Absolutely. And so, like, my thing is, I was talking.
Unless you, like, remember your past lives and shit, but that's another topic.
Yeah, I'd give anything if I could go into my little avatar state or whatever. But so I was talking to Adam. Shout out Adam Ledbetter, and we were talking about guitar, and we were talking about all the like theory that we learned, that when it's applied to guitar, it's like you can't turn it off. It's like a switch. Like, when I'm out and about and I'm listening to music, it's like I'm subconsciously analyzing this music, and it's like when we go and sit down and we're trying to be creative, it's almost like a block there. And, you know, this, once again, Dobby,
because you have to know, and you're too afraid to explore anything that you don't.
Yeah. And you got somebody like Dobby who doesn't know anything about music, and all he cares about is, like, does it sound good? Does it not? Am I bobbing my head? Am I not? Am I tapping my foot? Am I not? Like, that's all he cares about. Yeah. You don't care nothing about, well, the dominant seventh chord clashes with this suspended four, because when you're in the key of B flat, you got to move the seventh. He don't care nothing about none of that, you know? And so it's like, I spoke this beautiful language of, you know, black Southern musicianship in church, right? Just church. That is the musical language I was taught. I learned to speak black church. And it's a beautiful language. If you speak it, you can go to any black church in America and be fine. It don't matter what. Like, if you play guitar and you speak black church, you can go to any black church in America, be fine. Just like if you read music, you can read that same music in any context and be fine. But here's the thing. We're talking about languages. Reading music is a language. That Black church is a language. All that's being done is communication. So it doesn't, who cares how you communicate as long as what's being said needs to be said, right?
Amen.
And so music school kind of, I'm going to make a really messed up allegory here. I'm going to make a messed up comparison. It's like music school is this overseer that takes away your native tongue. It takes away what you speak. Because they say,
fuck.
Dude, think about this for a second.
You really meant we had to go down a rabbit hole for this one.
Think about this. I'll never forget in theory 2, theory 1, theory 2, it was a dominant 7 chord. Let's say C, E, G, B flat for all you theory nerds out there. And they're like, oh, what is this? And I was like, oh, that's a 1 chord. That's a 1/7. And the professor was like, no such thing. There's no such thing as a dominant 7th chord. And I'm like, You're talking to somebody who was raised on blues, rock and roll, gospel, and jazz. And you're telling me I can't tonicize a dominant 7th chord? That's what you're telling me? Okay, so what you're saying is the blues is wrong. That's what you're saying. You're saying it's wrong. The blues is wrong, jazz is wrong, rock and roll is wrong, gospel is wrong. Like, these are the same rules.
It does not fit into my limited perception of what music is.
Yeah, it's like,
it does not exist. If I deny it long enough, it won't happen.
These are the same people that are abiding by the rules that were written by people that said diminished chords are evil and satanic and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, you go to my church, all you hear is diminished chords. All service. Diminished everything, you know? And it's like, so you're saying that my church music is evil. You're saying that, this is inherently wrong because it doesn't follow these rules. And it's like, you get to asking, like, wait, who wrote these rules? Who said these rules? And then it's like a bunch of composers that ain't been popping since the 1700s. It's what?
Easier to dismiss something you don't understand than it is to just revel in the mystery and the beauty of it.
Come on, bro. Who's made a hit song off tonal harmony according to, these ancient ass, archaic ass rules that, was put in place by Bach and all that? Like, who's doing that? Like, that's not music, Like, yeah.
It's a kind of music.
Well, what I mean by that is like, if you were to state the textbook definition of music, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure it'll say something along the lines of time measured in space and notes and blah, blah, blah. And mind you, these are two music majors having a conversation. If you ask me what music is right the fuck now, I'm going to tell you I have no idea. Because, yeah, that might be the textbook definition, but that don't explain my grandmama crying when she's singing Amazing Grace. That don't explain the chills I get when I'm going through it and I put on, All Right by Kendrick Lamar, and it don't explain, like, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys coming through the speakers on game day at the pep rally at some ratchet ass school, and like, it doesn't explain the emotion that's channeled. It doesn't explain what it does to our soul, the physiological response. I don't know, It's beyond me. And so to pretend that we can measure this, to pretend that we can put rules on this, to pretend that, like, this methodology of analyzing theory that was, put on the map by some old racist white people, like, which ultimately, like, let's keep it a stack. Like, that's what happened, No shade to them, though. I ain't got no shade against the old racist white folks that died in the 1800s because they made great music. What's his name? Wagner? Wagner slaps, bro. Wagner goes so hard, and I can't stand myself because, like, apparently he was like a terrible person, white supremacist or whatever. But that don't mean he can't make great music. It ain't gonna be on the radio now. You can't dance to it. The ladies ain't gonna groove to it. Ain't nobody gonna twerk to it.
No one's loosening their corset for that.
No, nobody is twerking on top of a Nissan Altima to it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah. I kind of got a little carried away right there. I'm sorry.
No, I think it was called for.
I don't think it was called for. I was a loose cannon there for a second. Well, how much time we at?
Man, we've been going for like hour 15.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Man, Shout out Camacho. Shout out Swanglish. Shout out Huntsville City Music Office, man. Shout out St. Stephen's Music Hall. Who I'm missing, man?
Man, we said a lot. Shout out all of Northern Alabama.
Yeah.
And all the people who got a heart for this place. Shout
out Heath Bristol's thumb, man. I think it was his thumb. Yeah. Shout out his thumb, man. Let's hope that heals 100% in a timely manner, so my man can get back to thumping the bass. But I think that's it. I think I'm ready to put a fork in it. Like I said, I ain't mean to talk that long. I got a little crazy there towards the end.
I appreciate your passion.
Yeah, man.
That's why we do it.
Something like that.
All right, peace.
Fork in it, man. Do it.